exercise.
Just a little meditation.
All right, everybody. Welcome to This Pink Cloud, Season 2, Episode 23. Yay! So, sitting in with me, well, I am DJ Kelly Reverb. Sitting in with me today is my lovely and talented co-host, Dillion Kingston.
Vanna White.
What's up, Dylan?
What's up, guys?
We were just talking about on the playback how we feel like we sound so douchey in our voice. I'm like, I don't sound like that.
Terrible. I hate it. But hi, here I am. I'll talk some more.
Yeah, there you go. And then our esteemed colleague and
fuck.
I get esteemed.
Esteemed. That feels really old. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, right. But his name is Sam Tucker, and he is I guess father time of sobriety.
Oh,
because he has got 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely am excited to hear his story, but he's with CMA, and it's called Unwired Dallas. So we will get to his story, and I am excited to hear it because him and I are age adjacent, like we are very close in age. So we have, oh, yeah, I remember that spot. Oh, yeah, I remember that spot. Oh, yeah, I remember that person.
And I'm like, over here, like, y'all are weird.
Y'all are old.
Yeah.
Hey, but let's get to the good stuff here, Weston. If you can pull up the shirts, we do have these available on the DJ website. So if you go to djkellyreverb.com and then /shop, or just DJ Kelly Reverb and then click the shop button. We got the groovy one with the rainbow. We've got the standard This Pink Cloud shirt, and then what's the next one is the rehab one, the rehab edition. I went to rehab and all I got was my life back.
That's a great shirt.
Yeah, I think that one's my favorite, too.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, well, and then shout out to Kurt, of course.
Of course.
From Skate Straight, because he helped me with the design. I merely came up with the words. And he did his magic of stealing something from somebody and flipping it and making it his own.
What he does, he does it so well.
Shout out, Kurt. Shout out, Kurt.
The man.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And then while we're at it, obviously we are brought to you by Summer Sky out in lovely Stephenville, Texas. That would be summersky.us. And that's 888-857-8857. Once again, that is 888-857-8857. Summersky.us. If you're looking to get clean, they are a great place to do it because I did it there. So they rule. and they sponsor the show, so you know.
Yeah.
But no, I love that place, and yeah. Great spot for recovery, good people, and actually, you know, you're not a number. You know, they care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so Dylan, yeah, I have to apologize for last time we had you on. We had a little audio issue on the live feed. as I look over at Weston, he was like, "Dude, oh man, I messed up on the live feed." Yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah."
I've doubled and triple checked this time to make sure that it's all.
It's okay because it kind of goes with what we were talking about because it kind of like drowns my voice out, and I don't like the way I sound anyway. So
I'm glad somebody got something out of it.
Perfect.
Right. So what have you been up to in the interim? I mean, obviously working, but
yeah, man. I work a full-time job. I have a fiance and a dog. I skate for like 3 or 4 different companies.
Well, give the shout out, give the list.
Oh, okay. So I skate for Bread Brand Distribution, which includes Red F, E-Dubs Wax, Happy Wheels. I skate for Skate Straight. Shout out Skate Straight. That's where I keep myself on track in my recovery. So that's also like another full-time job. So I'm like juggling like 5 full-time jobs right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I can't forget. Shout out Shelly Simmons and Daphne the dog.
Okay, well, there we go.
There we go.
Sweet. We got all that in. But yeah, for any of y'all that are just tuning in, Skate Straight is a place where we actually have a smart recovery meeting, and that is an alternate to the 12-step meetings.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. It's just this, I mean...
It's CBT, man.
Yeah, well, the reason I got into Skate Straight, man, was because Of course, I like
Well,
to
it was
skate.
at
I
a
like to
skate park,
skateboard.
yeah,
Yeah, you know
right.
what I'm saying. And so
For
why
sure.
not mesh the two things that are most like two of the things that are most important in my life, and make it a happy gathering.
Right? You almost said happy ending.
Eh.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, so anyway, I appreciate you, sitting in co-host, and
Absolutely.
definitely want to have you back, on a regular basis,
For sure.
because you're fire, dude.
Fire.
You're fire, man.
I spit that hot fire. Dillion.
But our featured guest of the day, and I appreciate you. As you can see, he's in actual work attire, and he actually has a real job and is a responsible person. And I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day.
Thank you.
Yes,
Glad to be here.
this is Sam Tucker, and you consider your home group CMA, which for the noobs out there, and the 101 sobriety, which is Crystal Meth Anonymous, and it's a group called Unwired Dallas, and that is your home group, and you have 15 years sobriety.
That's right. Yeah, I just celebrated 15.
Dude.
June 17th.
Well, so
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
thanks, man.
yeah,
Thank
Oh,
you.
congrats.
yeah.
Good for you.
That's amazing.
Real deal crackheads rarely get a year. I just feel grateful to still be alive.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That is incredible. So, well, I mean, let's go ahead and just start it off. Like, I mean, like I was saying, where I'm gonna go. I went there. Yeah, I was there. A lot with you, but
Yeah.
just start off like how it maybe some early life trauma and how it got off the wheels
man.
and the good stuff. And we've got time, so.
Well, first, let me say I'm grateful to be here. I haven't been to Frisco in a long time. It's nice to get up.
You get a nosebleed this far north of 635.
Yeah, man. When I lived out here, and I graduated from Plano East in '90, and Frisco was like the end of the world. There
yeah.
were cows walking around
Sure.
and shit.
Yeah.
And people living in farmhouses. I did see some hay bales today.
Yeah.
When I took the U-turn, I was like, okay, this is what we're way out here.
Yeah, they've got it a little more well hidden, but it's still there.
Yeah, it's almost like
There's
like a
still
little
some country.
There's still a little bit of country, but
Right.
it's crazy to come out this far and see how it's exploded out here. But anyway, I listen, man. I was born in '72, so I just turned 49.
Right.
Right before I got 15 years, and so I grew up as an only child, and so there's the there's the selfishness, right? Right off the bat, I was a pretty sheltered kid, and honestly, when you think about it, like I had a great childhood. I mean, my parents are great people. They're still married. I had great people around me. I went to good schools. I was a little youth group church kid,
Oh, okay.
and but secretly like smoking cigarettes and drinking wine coolers, thinking I was a badass. Like the old Bartles and James.
I was gonna say Bartles and James.
Get you a
We're old.
4-pack and like some
Yeah.
Jarum clove cigarettes.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
When you could smoke in the mall,
yeah. The Collin Creek Mall. You
or
could smoke.
Richardson Square,
Richardson Square.
depending on your stomping grounds.
Now
yeah.
we're really dating
But,
ourselves.
Collin Creek
Malls.
Collin Creek was legit, dude.
Yeah,
I
sure
love
it
Collin
was.
Creek.
You know
yeah.
they demolished that place, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So what is it, like some kind of?
We drove by. Me and my fiance drove by the other day, and
Yeah.
it's full on like flat. Like,
It's gone.
and
Yeah.
it's gonna be apartments or
well, I
something.
think they're gonna do like a
useful.
fire wheel or like an outside type mall.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Cool.
it's gone.
Good to know.
That mall was badass though.
Right, I loved it.
We hung
I
out at
loved
the
it.
mall and like learned how to do bad shit at the mall.
See, it
Sure.
was in my time. It was a place where like older ladies went to do like aerobics, and they like walked around like.
Did a little speed walking,
just
a little power
crushes me.
walking.
Yeah.
Crushes me.
Right.
Spencer Gifts, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I
Orange
man,
Julius.
get you an Orange Julius.
Yeah, there you
they're
go.
pretty good. They have those at Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one thing they never demolish is a Dairy Queen. Like they're
Yeah.
always fucking there.
Yeah.
They
They've
turn
been
into
there for-
Chinese food restaurants.
That's right.
Right.
I don't know, man. I couldn't. I didn't know what it was early on. I just kind of was moving through life sideways, needing a drink or a drug.
Sure.
And I remember the first time I got a good buzz from my wine coolers, from my 4-pack. I was
Right.
like, I don't ever want to be away from this shit. Like
Yeah.
I want to have this accessible whenever I could. And I don't think I know my friends, my school friends didn't think that way. I was planning like the next run.
Yeah.
You know, but that all seems innocent now because, you know, I graduated on to crystal meth, as you alluded to. My home group is Crystal Meth Anonymous.
Right. Yeah.
There was a lot of crazy shit between Bartles and James and a meth pipe.
Well, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, you can touch on it. I mean, we have time, so
Yeah,
we're in
well,
no rush.
Okay. Well, I'll try to spare you all of the crazy war stories, but
Okay. Just use people's real names first and last, and
Yeah.
Put them on blast,
Yeah.
preferably.
Birth dates if it's
Yeah,
talk
right.
about their felonies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Like I had a, like I told you, I had a really good childhood, but I grew up in the 80s, you know, and music and pop culture and everything was, I think everyone says that about their generation, but I feel blessed and happy that I grew up in the 80s. So much cool shit. There weren't cell phones that, you know, people were filming concerts with and, you know, taking pictures of everything they did and tweeting it or putting it on Instagram. It was a cool time to grow up. And the music was great. You know, I love going to concerts. I love, you know, going to clubs and, you know, along the way I picked up alcohol and then marijuana and then cocaine like really quickly. Sure. And I remember thinking this is a hell of a lot of fun, and it was fucking fun, right?
Yeah.
We had there. I said right.
Right. We were talking about our speech defense mechanisms, or what we go to.
Our 12-step crutch words.
So yours is right. Yours is like. No, you're like.
No,
I'm
you're
right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
He's
And then,
right. I'm like.
And then I'm
You know.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Right. Like.
You know.
It's like. Yeah.
We should have somebody count how many times
Oh,
we
no,
say
we
it.
did that. We've done
I'm
that
gonna do
before.
it. I'm gonna watch this later and
Don't
count how
worry.
many times you say like.
My fiance is watching right now, and when I get home, she'll have a number. I promise. Yeah.
All right.
All right, somebody's out there counting right now, right? So I don't know, man. Listen. I didn't know it was a spiritual malady. You know, we call it that in the book, in the 12 steps. I just thought, you know, I really enjoy getting high and getting drunk.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the thing is I needed that shit. I really did. Like I told you, I had a really great childhood. I didn't have any of the early childhood trauma like divorce or abuse or any of the stuff. And people who have that stuff, man, they need it, right?
Yeah.
They need the drink or the drug more
Sure.
than I did. I just was, you know, sort of came into life without
masking the fact that you were a white privileged youth.
That's right. That's right. A West Plano
but I
white
mean, you were-
privileged traumatized youth.
Yeah, no, you were. I mean, but the thing is, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, you know, it is fun. You know, for a window.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I mean, so that's. I mean, for me, it was more of a self-medication thing.
For sure.
But I get it, like that. You know, where you're coming from, for sure.
Well, of course, it starts with the allure, you know, like it's cool at first, like,
Right.
and it's cool all the way up until the point until it's not.
Yeah, right. It was.
That's right.
It was fun until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Kelly just said right. I've
Yeah.
got him saying right.
Right.
Right. So I don't know, man. The thing is I didn't know what it was. I just knew. I mean, like looking back, it's easy to see that. I probably did things a little harder and had a lot more, you know, invested in where we're going to get the drink, where we're going to get the drug, whatever we were doing than my friends did. I just thought I was a good planner.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, well, no, I have it hooked up. You
I'm
know?
the guy.
We have the next 4 days planned. We have to go to Pleasant Grove tonight. Nobody else knew where the car wash in Pleasant Grove was, but I did. Yeah, but we.
And you guys didn't have GPS back then, so you were like maps
Oh,
going.
Makes it sound like Little House on the
dude.
Prairie.
Yeah, it was real.
We had our
dude.
brains for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have cell phones. We had a quarter, you know, for a payphone.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I got along the way, you know, the thing is as growing up as a gay kid in the 80s, you know, I watched a lot of scary shit. You know, I was an only child. I was there up in my head, you know, and my parents were like these very upstanding, religious, nice people, very polished, corporate, you know, North Dallas-y people. And I felt like I was in the wrong family, You know,
Right.
the good, like I love them. We're in great. We have
Sure.
a great relationship.
Well,
but
I mean, were they accepting of
absolutely.
your lifestyle?
No,
Yeah.
no. I just kind of kept it secret for a long
Oh,
time.
okay.
I mean, I wasn't like these kids now that have the full
Right. Yeah.
support of their family. I
Yeah.
was just trapped in my head, and so all that shit.
Well, that
that's-
was a time when we kept it trapped. I mean, it was
Yeah.
definitely more of a time when it was more, oh my God, dude, if you were gay, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, and in the 80s, everyone was dying of AIDS. So like
Yeah,
my parents
true.
had
Yeah.
friends and they would,
Yeah.
like Uncle so and so has passed away from a mystery illness and it was just
Right.
not spoken
Yeah,
anymore.
sure.
So I kind of grew up with that fear and
yeah.
like, holy shit, this is going to be my fucking life.
Yeah.
And so, that is not normal for kids to have that kind of.
Well, it's hard to carry a burden well, not necessarily a burden, but it's hard to that's like living a double life.
That's
you know?
right.
And that's difficult. That's mentally taxing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, it makes the drinking and the drugging all the more necessary.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
I really found a solution in that. I remember thinking like, if I can just get the edge off, and I'm like 18 years old, and thinking about how I can get out of my parents' house when I graduate. I'm gonna get out, and then I can finally like live my life. But like I ended up in hospital for depression, when I was 17. And really, I was just a kid trying to figure out like, how the fuck do I come out? How do I just be me?
Sure.
And so when you get a hold of drugs and alcohol, it helps you be you better, or it helps you,
It lowers your inhibitions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, I made some bad decisions along the way. I went to, for college, I decided I need to stay close and I want to be close enough to get home if I like puss out and need some money or whatever, or have like a bat, whatever. So I went to Baylor.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Like what a terrible decision.
Yeah.
A terrible decision.
Yeah, it's
one of the
definitely
worst
like-
ones of my life.
Yeah,
No
it's
offense to
definitely
Baylor.
like Footloose there. It's like a very small mind or small town mentality. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my friends from college or from high school went, and they were like, and I was like, okay, I'll go to Baylor. I kind of secretly felt like if I went to UT and really did it right, that I would probably end up dead.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It was like, I feel like I might become a sophomore and overdose or something.
Right.
But I got down there and I mean, just it flung the doors open. Everything started, It was like, I found cocaine really quickly. And I think I mentioned to you earlier, like you get a little drunk and then you get a little high and then you need a Xanax and you're in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I've just spent $300 to be sober and mad.
Yeah. That's fuck.
Right.
And I've got shit that ain't mine in my pockets.
That's right. That's right. What do they say? I'll steal your dope and help you look for it
100%. 100%.
or whatever else.
With my full capabilities of we're flipping couches and everything, and it's I don't know what happened to it, dude.
Oh yeah, it's in my pocket.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I've done a lot of that.
Yeah.
Have you ever
100%.
lost dope in your car and then like been sure that it's in there?
Oh, it's the fucking valet took it.
The valet took it.
that-
I wasn't valeting back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was never privileged enough to valet.
God damn it! The valet took my 8-ball. How dare you?
No, you dropped it. It was somewhere, dude. I know it's right. It's
Well,
around here somewhere.
Well, it usually happens at a time when you like have enough and you're like not too worried about it, and then when you get scarce, you're like pulling the carpets out of your car to like find
yeah.
it because you don't have shit, and it's like so you're on
And
this.
you're checking all the small pockets in your jeans.
Yeah.
I used to have the headlights. Those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to have like a real cracky headlight that I would wear,
Yes.
and I would fling my doors of my car open and use my lawn blower to blow it out because I knew it was in there. So like, I was like wait and come on the other side of the car with my light and look to see if the baggie flew out,
Yeah.
thinking like my
Very.
neighbors didn't know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you were just cleaning
he's-
your car.
He is out there with a leaf blower.
It's like 2:13 a.m.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's like 3 in the morning with a leaf blower in the back of his car.
Yeah,
He's
and I
just
got
a
like a
clean
captive
guy.
out there. Like,
And Jones-
you don't fucking move. You stand here and wait for this baggie. It has an ace of spades on it.
Yeah.
Do not fuck with me. With my leaf blower.
Right.
Good times.
That's legit.
funny.
Yeah, that's normal.
It is normal.
Right.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm a tweaker, so I was always up.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, like eventually, I mean, I don't think I asked you what your drug of no choice was, but is it all of it?
I mean, yeah, I'm a more guy, but if I have my choice and I'm gonna pick, I'm a heroin guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got to crystal meth and I was like, I will never be without this shit.
Yeah.
Never be without it. And like I remember like kind of, you know, doing it along the way, you know, and like these little tiny vials, somebody gave it to me and I'd be up for 2 days like, oh fuck, that was crazy. And I look back at that little tiny brown vial and think like that was just chump change.
Yeah.
You know, I was a daily user quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking like, God, I really pity those people who smoke crack. I mean, that's so fucking messy.
Oh,
you know, they
yeah.
go down so fast.
It's a waste.
As I'm
Yeah.
like freebasing on my, you know, glass pipe.
Right.
And with all my equipment, you know, tweakers, we have a lot of equipment.
Oh yeah, you have
Too
the
much.
kit.
Yeah, we
Kit.
have a lot of shit. Like while you guys are passing out, nodding out with a cigarette, we're planning on robbing you.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I did.
I didn't rob you because
Yeah.
you're 12,
Yeah.
but I would have.
Yeah. And that's why. Yeah, that's why.
I mean, like, take his shoes. We're gonna sell those shoes. We can make some money, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
He'll
He's
get
got
some
his
more.
socks.
Get his keys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
right.
got his socks.
right. He's good.
Yeah.
Defenseless poor little me over there in the
Right.
corner, nodded out.
Yeah.
Poor
right.
little heroin addicts. Yeah, I
Right.
remember trying to revive some heroin addicts and some alcoholics with crystal meth on like the back of in a tiny bathroom somewhere. I'm like, dude, we have to go. You've got to act right. Take
Come
this bump.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then like you
Wake
drop
up.
it out of your nose, and I'd be like, "Fuck this guy," as I'm like blotting it up with my finger on the floor.
Doing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
sorry, we got
No,
there. We got there pretty
hey,
quick.
Hey, no, that's okay. I mean, you know, everybody that you know probably is watching the show probably is familiar with that, except for my dad. You know, but
Yeah.
but everybody can relate to some level of that because you know we all did it and got to a point where you know it was a problem. You know, but you know, with crystal meth, I guess you know the road is a little bit shorter. Whereas like maybe just a boring alcoholic, you know, it
I
took
don't know,
me a while before I was what I would consider not normal. But
We all get to
yeah.
the same place.
yeah, exactly.
I
Which is powerless.
yeah, like
Right?
I mean, I remember the day that you know, I'd been up for like 4 days, and that's not normal. It's not normal to stay up for 48 hours, much
Sure.
less.
That's when you start seeing your shadow buddies.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
those people are real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like fully convinced, like you telling people, like I called my dad and was like, I'm gonna have to start working for him, you know, because and he's like, well, who are they? And I'm like, I can't say,
I can't say.
but they are out there.
Yeah.
And
They're definitely there.
full conspiracy theories. But I remember having like a moment of clarity, and my power was out, and I had like this weed eater cord that I had, you know, boosted from somebody, and it was run from the neighbor's house. So I had like a
okay.
power pack, and I had like a fan, a light, and my TV. And I remember sitting in my house thinking, like, how the fuck did I get here?
You were getting bootleg power from your
Bootleg
neighbor.
power. Yeah. Yeah, we have all kinds of tricks
Right,
tweakers
sure.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at this picture that I had that was at, you know, in my place of me when I was happy, or I thought I was happy, and I was like, how did I get from that guy to this guy, and how the fuck do I get back? Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And it just seemed like impossible to imagine. What do you do? Like, how do I facilitate that?
Well, we go to a place where we're like completely unrecognizable.
100%.
Like, if I were to show you myself at my weakest point, you'd be like, who the fuck is that guy?
Right, dude.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And then when you see yourself like that, I mean, like, there was nothing I could have done to facilitate any sort of like getting back to that.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't like, well, I'm just going to go to bed and sleep for 10 hours and get up and press my clothes.
Yeah.
And go about my life. Like I would be out on the tweak, you know, up in the morning coming back from some club or something at 7:30 and see people like going to work and be like, oh,
yeah.
man, I'm a fucking loser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I do that? How do I get back to that? Because I used to do
Seeing
it.
school buses go by, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah, the school buses
Yeah.
and the birds chirping and the paper hitting the door. Like
Yeah.
that's when you realize like
maybe there's an issue.
I had
it's Tuesday morning and the birds are chirping.
Yeah, right.
I had a moment like that, like, because they used to do like after hours clubs and stuff like that. And when you would come out of those places at like 7 in the morning, the church people would be like outside, like handing waters to you, like, drink this water. We know you're on drugs. Like, and that always rubbed me wrong. I always was like, I'm not doing something right.
That's
like,
awful. I
Yeah.
never knew they did that.
I thought you were saying that. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I thought you were
Yeah.
like, hey, man, fuck your water, dude. Get your water
Yeah.
out of my face.
well, no, yeah, they're like,
Like,
'cause,
hello, young man. Are you peeking on ecstasy?
Exactly.
Would you like a Gatorade?
Yeah,
I
right.
would. I
Your
would. I'd be like,
electrolytes
you
look
guys
like
are
they're-
fucking cops.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that gives you like the worst feeling in the world, and I'm like, oh, this is awkward. Get me out of here. Like,
Yeah, no, I get it. So speaking of after hours and whatnot, but so you were full on looking at this picture of yourself of what you thought the healthy you should look like.
Yeah.
And then you were probably glancing in the mirror if you had one that wasn't broken or being used for
Yeah.
other
Right.
other sources.
For hot rails.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what a hot rail is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what?
I don't know if I'm like tweaker speak
No,
or
you can.
No, yeah, I
hey,
know.
well, go ahead. For all of those that are not listening,
This is a
hot-
sponsored
what is
show
that?
by
What
a
is-
rehabilitation
No, it's
center.
okay. I mean,
And I'm like, to make the perfect hot rail.
Well, you don't have to go into
No.
it, but what is a hot
Well,
rail?
I mean, like doing a bump, like shit goes from doing a bump at a club and having fun and maybe staying up for a night to like, I got to find a place to do a hot rail of meth, which
Okay.
is like $100 worth of meth that you burn off with a pipe and snort it up your nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heat the end of the pipe up and you blaze
Gotcha.
through the line and then
Okay.
you're like,
And kids, that's what a hot rail
yeah,
is.
it's terrible. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. So,
In
but
your home with no power on.
right,
Yeah.
well, with your neighbor's borrowed power.
That's right.
And a butane torch.
There you go.
There's always butane around.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I had. I had like a stolen bag, like some briefcase or something that had a can of King butane in it, and some keys, and like I had lost a flip flop, so I only had one flip flop.
And you didn't know what the keys went to.
No, I don't. But
Yeah.
I have them still to remind myself of that because I was gonna keep those keys. They were on like a chain that I had around my belt. And
Why? So people like thought you were a janitor or something?
no, man, I didn't even look that good. I was rough, but yeah.
Dude, this guy's got heavy key game, man.
Yeah.
Respect him, man.
Like a chain or something on it.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Protection.
Well, so obviously you were off the rails, and at that point, then
I see what you did there.
What do you? I use rails.
I was on the rails.
There you go. You were on the rails, but so yeah, how did you? Okay, so how do you go from there? Like, if somebody's listening and they're struggling out
Yeah.
there, how did you find your pathway to where you are today?
Well, first I'll tell you this: like it, I think people who are struggling with addiction of any kind could relate to this. The idea, like, I wanted to quit. What I wanted to do, really, sort of towards the end, was I wanted to mitigate the bad circumstances. Like, I didn't want to, be a guy that lived in a place without, in a flop house without power. I didn't want to never have enough money for gas. I didn't want to be the person who would steal from you and help you look for it or whatever. But I still wanted to be able to use drugs. But I didn't even realize the danger I was in. I just was kind of like, how do I figure out how not to stay awake for 7 days straight, and think the FBI's after me? How do I just do this, like a gentleman?
How can I? Yeah,
like a
how can I
gentleman?
dial it back a little
yeah.
bit and just socially?
I remember literally
Socially.
that strikes a chord because I remember literally like towards the end when I was trying to figure that out too. I had a job. I don't know how I got a job, but I had my check and I had literally sat with a calculator and like budgeted out how I could budget my check to where I had just enough for each day and could still go to work so that I could
Yeah.
get that like just the insanity of it all.
Yeah.
I could have helped you with that. Then I would have stolen your calculator.
And had you helped you deposit your check as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Onto a green dot Visa card, which I would have used.
There you go.
No, I remember. The point is that there were a lot of attempts.
You were trying to dial it back.
Yeah. And I'm glad I had that. I mean, I had this body of evidence that points to the fact that I was not able to do it on my own, right? I mean, I had gotten to the point where I had to have Crystal with me at all times. And it was like a security blanket. Like I knew I would be okay because the come down and the consequences of coming down and the depression and the way your body feels is just, I had to have it, but I really did try to manage it. And then, just like all of us, it reaches a point where you can't live without it and you can't live with it. And I'm getting high against my will because I just made this plan like, okay, I'm going to sleep for 2 days. I'm going to get some groceries because those were rare,
Sure.
I'm going to get back into the good graces of my family. I'm going to, I'm going to do some good shit. I'm going to get me a little job. Like my goal was to get a bank account again because I was, I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have power, much less a bank account, like a checkbook. And to get a job, and my goal was to get a job either at the adult bookstore or the liquor store.
There you go.
I figured I would start on the underbelly, and I was gonna just
work your way up,
crawl back up,
crawl back up.
Well, yeah, because I was always up, and I'm like, well, those places are open 24 hours, and so I can go work the night shift. And
not to tell on myself, but I know a guy that works at the adult bookstore and the liquor store as well. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait, do I know
He
him?
does, yeah, right.
Right, do we know him?
Yeah, right. Is he one of our friends?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I couldn't even do that. And so I kept getting staph infections and going to the hospital, from using, and I was convinced that
the hygiene kind of suffers, right?
Yeah,
a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I was convinced it was a spider bite. Yeah. I would tell people, I got a spider bite, and they're like, "There's no fucking spider."
Right.
You're in bad shape. I'm like, man, you don't know these spiders.
They're ruthless.
Burrow under your skin, and I would dig on them. I was in bad shape physically, bad shape spiritually.
Sure.
And my, listen, I told you my parents are good people. They rendered aid. My dad came down one day and was standing in my yard, which was the worst nightmare. My dad is a banker, and he was standing in the yard in a pinstripe suit, just staring and not blinking. And I rolled up, twacked out of my mind, and tried to kind of keep rolling. And he just kind of kept walking. And I was like, this is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
So
it's like that thing in Ferris Bueller's Day Off where they pull up next to Ferris's dad.
Exactly.
Right? And you look over and you're like,
yeah,
ducking down.
It's terrible. But he was like, the gig is up, man. This is it. You can't live like this anymore. And they had kind of known that I was in trouble, and I felt like there was a giant conspiracy. But some of my friends had come together and gotten a hold of my family and said he's in trouble. And
there was a conspiracy, thank God.
Yeah, I never had thought about it like that.
That part was real.
They weren't. The FBI was not involved. They don't give a shit.
It was your actual people that give a shit about you.
Yeah, and these are people that I had shit on, right? These are people that I had not, I hadn't been in touch with for years. I had just completely shit on these people, and they gave enough of a damn about me to get a hold of my family, and they rendered aid. And I feel grateful for that, because a lot of people are like, oh, he's on his own.
Right.
And they threw me in rehab, this wonderful place that in Hunt, Texas, called La Hacienda. Mm-hmm. And I got my first dose of the 12 steps from a guy named Chris Raymer, who wears an eye patch, and he's very scary, and he talks about the internal condition, and he does this thing called Stick Man to show you what powerlessness looks like on a chalkboard with
sounds kind of Harry Potter-ish, like with the eye patch and.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was not that cool.
No,
he was just really terrifying. And I'm coming to, and he was saying stuff like, all you cats that end up in wind-up joints. And I'm like, what the fuck is a wind-up?
Yeah, what is that?
It's where you wind up.
Oh.
I woke up in the hill country to a guy with an eye patch from my long crystal meth nightmare. I woke up and I come out of the special care unit, and this guy's talking about spiritual malady, powerlessness, God, and I was like, this will not do.
Yeah, where the fuck am I?
What you don't
Right.
understand, like I'm not here for all this, and so I just decided like I'm gonna get through this for 30 days, and I'm gonna go, and I'm like, this scared me enough. I'm gonna be able to use normally.
Right.
And I got my little coin, you know,
Sure.
and stood up there and was like, I'm planning on, you know, doing this, and you know, your little rehab speech. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever done that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you do a little rehab speech at the end, and then like 6 days later, you're getting high again.
You're
Yeah.
like rechecking yourself in.
Well, that's exactly what I did. Like 6 days later, I'm like, I'm going to stop by and see some of my friends at the club and show them how good I'm doing.
Right.
With my rehab weight on and, you know, my nice clothes. And,
Right.
And I ended up like walking in and immediately, like I'd been to rehab, I've been to jail, I've had all these staph infections, I've had this plan, like I'm not going to do this shit anymore. And then I'm just going to go see my friends, and the pipe's in my mouth in like 20 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I'm rolling the pipe, I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? I have been to rehab.
Well, they also say the famous people, places, things. So you know. Yeah.
Well, people get high, like people like me get high no matter what.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
You would
unless
find those people, places, and things no matter where you
I
were.
am the
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
places,
yeah.
and things.
There-
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm
Yeah.
like a drug dog. If it's around, I'll find
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, right.
Well, wherever I go, there I am. Right.
Right,
So I
sure.
ended up high again, and I'm like, I don't know how this happened. And the truth is those people like Chris Raymer and those people who the Cocaine Anonymous people that I heard in that rehab were the ones who they got in my head. And they started fucking with me with the big book.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, once you know, you can't unknow it.
They plant seeds.
They do. They do. And like it gets in there, like things like getting high against your will and powerlessness. And so I went back, and I didn't get sober then either. You know, I was like, you know, whatever it takes, it takes. So if people are listening out there and they've been to multiple rehabs, don't give up.
Yeah,
Just
Sure.
going.
do the work.
Well, yeah. I mean, they always say, or the famous words is that relapse is part of recovery.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah, it was mine. I mean,
Sure.
I finally, you know, I'd been to rehab and been to jail a lot, and I got out, and I used again, and it's kind of like old home week. I'm like, well, here we are again, you know, lost in Oaklawn with no shoes,
Right.
You know, running.
one flip flop and a mean set of keys.
Well,
Yeah.
I was
And
talking
some
to
butane.
I was talking to somebody about that Wednesday. They were really upset coming back from a relapse and things like that, and I like explained to them like the goal obviously would be to get clean and sober and not relapse, right?
Sure.
But like you also have to remember like we're addicts. Birds fucking tweet and we use fucking drugs. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying? So like if you relapse, it's not about relapsing, it's about picking yourself up and getting back on the horse and like going back about your business and trying a different way. And like you said, if you're out there and you're listening and you're coming off a relapse or you've been to a bunch of rehabs and you think it's not working, keep fucking trying. I have a buddy that has literally been to Homeward Bound in Dallas 50 times.
Yeah.
And now he's right behind. He's right ahead of me. 18 months.
And God bless
sober.
those
Yeah.
people for never closing the door on us.
Yeah.
Too, right.
You know, like and those people like they know addiction. That's what they do, and so they know, and they will be there to help. You just like you said, you have to do the work.
Well, this whole shame-based thing, you know, like that's the challenge. And I sponsor 10 guys still, and I always tell them when they come in and they're like, well, I can't believe so-and-so relapsed. I'm like, you can't? We get high.
That's
Like
what
this
we
is
do.
unnatural behavior that I'm in a blazer in Frisco in a nice place
Right.
talking to you guys.
Drinking
Yeah.
cold
Drinking
coffee.
a Diet Coke on a
Yeah,
Friday.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, like are bitching about how like this coffee's not right at Starbucks.
Yeah.
This privileged shit. But they, you know, we got to leave the door open for people. The door was open for me. Those people, when I did want to get sober at the firing line group of Cocaine Anonymous, saved my life. There was
Yeah,
the
you were
craziest-
saying that. So yeah, dive into that. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
what was your experience there?
Well, like I'd been to rehab, been to jail, all that stuff, and finally, when I finally decided, like, I gotta do this. The only reason I did want to get sober is because I was getting really, really fucking high, like using a lot of drugs, and it wasn't doing what I needed it to do. Like,
Right.
It wasn't
The effects wore off. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I was real high. I was up in the fucking ceiling high, but I
Right.
was not able to quiet the internal shit.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't having fun. It was just misery on a crystal meth high, which is really not fun.
It's like
Sure.
a full-time job.
Yeah, and I couldn't hold it together, so I was like, all right, I give up. June 17th, with my one shoe and, my bag full of somebody else's keys, I called my dad and said, I need some help. And he put me in touch with the people at Cocaine Anonymous, and I went to a meeting that night, and this girl named Rain, who I still keep in touch with, she was the shot girl at Pete's Dueling Piano Bar.
All right.
She ended up being my sponsor, and she was a little badass, and she didn't take any bullshit from anybody. Little bitty, pretty girl, and she scared the shit out of me. I was like, how strange, and she spoke my language, and she's like, you're going to sit in this chair, you're going to listen to this meeting, you're not going to share, and you're going to meet me at Starbucks. And like, I hadn't been to a Starbucks. Like, as a crackhead, you don't go to Starbucks.
Sure.
And I listened to all those people like Jordan and Doug and Dawn and Bethany and all those people. They're still sober. Mm-hmm. And I listened to them, and they were, they told my story. And I was like, well, I guess I'm home. And the God thing gave me a problem. I was like, you don't understand. Like, growing up as a gay kid, like, we don't do God. We're not talking about that.
Sure.
And this guy named Ethan, again, still sober from that group, he's like, well, if the God idea drives you out, I hope the drugs drive you back in. I was like, well, that's very fucking recovery of you.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Pastor
Right.
Ethan. But he was right. And listen, I didn't know that's not the way everyone does it in recovery. I didn't know that how lucky I was, but it was this crazy assortment of people from all different walks of life who put me in the middle of them and did not allow me to feel different or unique. And they pushed me through the work because they knew I would die without it.
Yeah,
sure.
And, they got me into sponsorship. They got me going to Turtle Creek Manor. This guy named Ross would take me to Turtle Creek Manor and to Homeward Bound. And I just watched them. I watched what they did. And I have never not done that since then. I'm so grateful for that foundation of recovery Cocaine Anonymous gave me. I moved closer to downtown, so I started going to an AA group and kind of waffled around in there. And then I found CMA, and there were like 4 people going to that meeting.
Right.
But there was something there. And now there's like 100, at our meetings.
Yeah, they're packed.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole point of CMA.
Now, anybody with an addiction is welcome to a CMA meeting.
Yeah,
correct?
sure.
Because I always like to point that out, because then I'm like, well, I didn't smoke, crystal, so but I mean, y'all are welcoming any drug that's an addiction, right?
But we
because
robbed you, so you should be there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, so I just like to point that out that
100%.
hey, man, if there's a group around you with an A in it, I condone that. Yeah, go.
Yeah, you guys read
Go,
from
it
the
could
big
help.
book too, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. We that whole program was founded by a guy named Bill Coffey in West Hollywood, who was watching people come in West Hollywood off the streets, vibrating in CMA or in AA meetings, and they wouldn't let him share. And so they founded it, 12 Steps, the Big Book, all of the literature, just for a place for crystal meth addicts, and crackheads to go and talk. But yeah, it's an open meeting.
Right.
And listen, there's no shortage of garden variety alcoholics, but
Sure.
in the world I live in, especially in the gay community, there is an epidemic of crystal meth right now. A lot of people are bypassing all the other shit that we had fun with, and they're like straight into Tina, straight into crystal meth. And so we see people come in now in their early 20s who are just burnt the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
That never really drank.
Or did anything else, and it's just like,
or had any fun. They just like went straight into Tina, and then that's what we call it. And then and then by 22 they're burned out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least they hopefully have the rest. Hopefully have the rest of their life to enjoy in a sober state.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty rockin' fellowship right now. You know, when we got a hold of some literature, we got a place to meet, and people sponsorship by the numbers, people going to treatment centers, wind up joints, like my friend Chris R says.
Sure.
But it's been the greatest joy of my life. Like, I never thought I was gonna be of service to anybody. Like, I was like, I just want to get well and go on with my life.
Yeah.
But those people never let me.
So when a sponsee comes to you and goes, man, 15 years, how did you do it? What's your go-to line? Or
Well,
what
a lot
do
of
you
people
say?
look at me and don't
Sure.
think now, like, well, how the fuck is he going to know how I feel?
Yeah,
Some
oh,
little
yeah.
burnout tweaker from lost in Oakland.
Yeah.
And, they see 15 years and they think, I don't even know, 15 days. Like, that just
Right.
seems impossible. So I think it's important to be there. Like, I go to meetings still. I still sponsor, as many people as I can, and still go to treatment centers and try to be rigorously honest. When people hear me share, they're not able to. They know that I know where they are. You know what I mean? Like, I can still speak from the heart, the language of the heart, and be like,
Sure.
"Oh, so you did that? Well, let me tell you what I did." And they're like, "Holy shit, this guy's for real."
Right. Yeah. I
But-
mean, yeah. It's amazing how people transform after they stop their DOC.
Yeah.
And you're like, I mean.
Well, yeah, it's just so weird when you think about, like, the first time you went to a meeting and there's like fluorescent lighting and people are laughing and smoking and like hugging and you're like, what is this shit?
Right.
We don't do like what
What are
is what
these
is
people
happening
on?
here?
Yeah, what do you want from me?
Yeah, what sort of cult have I landed in?
Yeah.
Right.
In this strip mall in North Dallas.
Yeah.
Strip mall.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right.
but
It's like shady. There's never like an actual sign showing you where the meeting is and
It
stuff
doesn't
like
say
that.
AA
Or
here.
anything,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Right.
and you walk in and it's like an unruly like difference of people all around, and they're like hugging, and there's like always a pot of coffee, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with these
or if you
guys?
don't know where it is, like you're driving around looking for the meeting, you just look for a bunch of people smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a congregation.
Very close to each
Yeah.
other.
Like a huge
And
congregation.
I love it when the people show up, or that they show up a little bit late and they knock on the door.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Have you ever had that happen during a meeting?
No.
It's great.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
somebody better get that, and then welcome in, brother.
Yeah.
or sister. Or,
Yeah, and everybody like stops what they're doing and like turns and looks at you.
You just got checked. You're the new guy.
Yeah.
You're the new person.
There's like a trash can full of Monster and Red Bull
Yes.
bottles,
Oh, yeah.
cans. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know. Meetings all over, pretty amazing. I still go to meetings wherever I go.
Yeah,
Haven't
and so you
traveled
were
in a while.
saying you also go to different rehab centers and
Yeah,
and
I mean,
reach out and
I try to if someone asks me
Get
to
on the
speak or
front
someone
line,
asks
yeah.
me to go to a rehab center, and I still encourage my sponsees to go to them. It's been kind of shitty through COVID not to
Yeah.
be able to go and do that. There's a really cool place that we take a meeting to out in East Dallas called Nexus.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all women's recovery.
Sure.
And that's the real deal. An auditorium full of 100 people, and to be on a panel out there and watch those people, and some of them get sober and carry the message with us, and we see a lot of people come in and out of that place, but I'm just grateful those places are still there. It's really hard to get sober without insurance in
Right,
Dallas,
yeah.
Texas. It's pretty fucked up.
well,
Yeah.
but and then that's why I always like to point out like free resources for people. So
Yeah.
there is Nexus and Homeward Bound,
Turtle
and
Creek.
Turtle Creek. Turtle Creek is now dudes only though.
Dudes only.
That's what I hear.
Parkland, man, if you get-
Parkland, yeah.
That's a
Parkland.
wind-up joint.
Methodist Richardson, you can go there and turn yourself in if you're like withdrawn or whatever
Yeah.
like that, and they'll get you some help.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there are places
All
to go.
good stuff. So, and
Yeah.
then if you're curious about anything, obviously reach out to any of us. Also, I'd like to. I'm going to go ahead and get the plugs in. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is thispinkcloud.com. If you're listening on Spotify or whatever. Or on Facebook. It's your good deed for the day. So go to YouTube, hit subscribe. Want to give a shout out to our lovely sponsor, Summer Sky, which is summersky.us, and that is 888-857-8857. Summersky.us, 888-857-8857. Also, the groovy shirts, Weston, if you haven't fallen asleep yet over there, but I always catch them off guard. But we've got these 3 different
great
shirts
shirt.
on the, they're available on the website.
Yeah, I've got some sobriety weight on me. Do you have a double X?
There are double X's on that because they are actually direct to garment.
I like that. That's the one right there. I'll buy one of those.
I don't know. I'll have to see if I have a, are you a 2X or
Yeah.
1X? Oh, well, I don't know. I'll see. I'll check the supplies.
That's a rehab chair right there. A
That
real
is for sure.
Or WWE chair.
Yeah, a little SmackDown
Yeah.
chair.
Or
Yeah.
It's a cage fight chair.
Or
Yeah,
in
cage
rehab.
fight chair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
A rehab
Either way.
fight chair.
A rehab fight chair.
That'd
yeah.
be awesome.
Either way, my ass has seen a lot of those chairs for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, you can go to the my DJ website, which is djkellyreverb.com/shop. We have all 3 of those shirts available. And, anybody that you guys want to shout out to, Dillion and Sam, I'll start with Dylan here. I know you already shouted out to the Fiance and the dog.
But I guess I'll give them another one. Hi, guys, watching at home. And then, yeah, man.
Skate Straight,
I just like to
E-Dub.
plug in there, all that stuff. But I'd like to plug in there that Kelly tags me and everything. So if you ever have any questions about recovery and you need somebody to talk to that kind of knows their stuff, I'm open to listen and talk and stuff like that. So just don't be shy.
He's a good dude. Reach out to him. Reach out to me. Reach out to Sam. I'm sure Sam is open to talking to anybody.
You have 18 months coming up too, right?
Yeah, 2 days. In 2 days, I'll be 18
Congrats,
months.
man.
All right. Well,
That's
we'll
huge.
give you a golf clap early.
Yeah,
dude.
That's right.
Yeah, longest amount of sobriety I've ever put together. So
That's incredible.
That's dope. That's dope.
life
That's
changes.
real dope.
I got my own place. I got a car. I got a good job. I got a dog. I got a fiance.
Electricity.
Dude, I have more than one roll of toilet paper at home right now. So how about that?
That you
That
bought.
is legit.
Yes,
You bought it.
that we bought, yes, and it's the good stuff too. The Cottonelle.
Ooh,
the
nice, dude.
padded
Yeah,
stuff.
that is high
It's
quality.
not bounce.
No.
Like a bounce sheet.
Yeah, no.
Oh
Sorry.
my God.
Or like an old
Or
paper
old
towel.
behavior.
Or
Newspaper.
like Wendy's napkins.
Wendy's napkins. Dude. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. And then Sam, anybody you would like to shout out to?
I just want to say that if you guys out there are listening and you need a place to go, and then we're open 5 days a week, 7:30 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at Unwired Group, Oaklawn United Methodist Church, corner of Cedar Springs and Oaklawn. Also on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and then Sunday at 5:30 p.m. It's a great fellowship, and if that's not the one, come find me, call me, text me, email me, and I'll help you find a place
Right.
to get free.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many options out there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just because you go to a meeting doesn't mean that you're committing to sobriety, so don't let that scare you away.
Yeah.
And it's not a cult. And, I always like to shine a little light on that. I mean, it is reprogramming,
Yeah.
but for your benefit,
That's
Yeah.
right.
So-
You can't think your way out of this. Get some
Yeah.
help. We can help you.
Yeah,
And
it's
have a shit ton of fun along the way too.
Yeah, it's a cool community, man. It really does. And the community, the involvedness, the people, and all that stuff, it helps me a lot with my recovery. Just having other people that I know that are going through the same shit and making it. So it's cool.
Yeah, and I love the community aspect of my recovery has been paramount.
Yeah.
So I
Thank you
always
for doing
say
this,
that.
too.
Yeah,
It's really
well, I
cool.
appreciate it. I mean, it's kind of like it's everybody's show, and I just like to put a little sunshine on if I can, on something that deserves it, and people, because if I would have watched this when I was using it, hopefully would have inspired me. And
For sure.
that's what I'm here, to do, and to let people, kind of be a resource broker, and just get the word out there that hey, it's not all a big secret, and like I like to say, there is no magic pill
I
for
like that.
sobriety.
What does it say? If there was, we would take too many or smoke it.
Right. But I guess Weston, we'll go ahead and thanks for watching this week, and thank you for coming out.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for stepping in, and reach out to any of us, all of us, if you have any questions. We love you guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Drop the ball down.